Oh, hi everyone. Thanks for joining in. Sorry about that. Went on the wrong screen there. Excuse me. What am I trying to do? All right. Welcome to the live anyway. Just made it in time to start on time. Hi Nelly. You all right, Paul? Thanks for joining in. Just trying to get the info of the live on. Right. I've got the right button now. Sorry. It's all going mad. We've got 8 people in on the stream, so I was just checking everything. I hope you've had a good week on the Windows. I know the weather hasn't been the best, but it's been workable. I haven't checked the weather for next week yet. I daren't. I'll just see day by day. Wake up and see what it does. But I do believe next Saturday, someone was telling me that it's going to drop in temperature again. So see what happens there and how that affects us all. Hopefully all right. And looking on YouTube at the moment, it's saying something about the stream might be interrupted because the internet where I am is not that good. So if there's any interruptions, that's why. Nothing your end, it's all my end. Hi Sean, you all right? Just have some water. Yeah, this week's gone all right for me. I took Tuesday off because it was my birthday, and we took Thursday off because we had high winds where I am. It was over 30 miles per hour and rain, so we didn't work. I worked this Saturday to make up for that day anyway. And we got that in. Oh, Nelly saying terrible week due to rain. It's been raining here, but not bad. So we've been all right, really. I've been lucky in that respect. Like I said, there's areas in there where they've had rain every day since Christmas Day, I think, down in the southwest, I'm sure. Hi, TJ. You all right, mate? Yeah, everything's all right. And yeah, that's why I thought I'd do a live, because we had a bit of a blooper with me price increases, which I'll talk about. And yeah, the response on the first evening after that was a bit alarming, but nothing's gone downhill since then. So hopefully I'm over the worst of it. It's been a bit hard using Squeegee to work out how much a month I'm better off, which I'll cover as well in the live. Excuse me, bit of a cough. But yeah, is anyone else thinking of doing price rises this year? Because I did one last year, so I didn't want to do one this year. I thought I'd do it every 2 years, get in the habit of doing it that way. Hi Marcus, you all right, mate? Thanks for joining in. It's I had to do it because of the van problems I had and getting the van on finance and the extra insurance. So I was £530 a month worse off due to that. And that's too much to swallow, really. So I've had to put the prices up to match that. Hi, Nathan. You all right, mate? Oh, Rowan, yeah. He comes on the live quite a lot, actually. So do you work with your brother, do you, doing the window cleaning all together? Welcome to the live. Anyway, I'll go to the comments and just welcome everyone in. So hi, Nelly, Paul, Sean. Nelly's just saying he's had a terrible week due to rain. Has anyone else had the same problem? Yeah, everything's all good, TJ. You are, Marcus. Welcome to live again, Nathan. Hi, Mills Cleaning. You all right, mate? And there's more others. We've got 13 in total anyway on the live, so excuse me. But yeah, it's been a bit funny. I mean, I use Squeegee app as my CRM, and I went up to the Ultimate a couple of years ago, and it's mainly because there's a feature on there with the pricing. If you're on anything lower than Ultimate, you don't get the pricing feature. So that's one reason why I went for the Ultimate as well. And what I like the idea with it is you can go to Squeegee, go for your pricing, and then you can select your customers. And then basically, you put in how much you're doing your price rise. So for this year, for example, I went 5% after everyone's advice on here. And then I mentioned it before, I was going to go up 3%, and everyone said do 5%. So I did, and I'm glad that I took that advice. So I went 5%, rounded up to nearest pound. And then basically on the stroke of one button, it will send everyone out a message, which you can pre-populate. So I think it went along the lines of, due to rising costs, I've had to put a price increase up of 5%. And then I said, your new window cleaning price is, and then Squeegee will put for each individual what the new price will be. So the idea is I just press one button, rather than my wife having to send individual texts out to all our customers, it does it in one go. So I did that. And I've also put the date down of when it's going to take effect, so, which was meant to be the 1st of April. But in my rush to get that done, I'd put a date from when I was first looking at all this, and I'd left it on there, which was from the 13th of January. So the customers got the message, and then the effective date was the month before, 13th of Jan. And then also, the way it works with Squeegee is it will automatically change their price and change the pricing for all my customers inside Squeegee for me as well. But because some of these customers I do the window cleaning for, I've done ad hoc jobs, so that's your gutter clears and your fascia softs and gutters. So each little individual, even previous ones in previous years be on there, it's gone and added 5% on there. So some people got the message saying your window cleaning price is now £42, for example. And then some people would get your window cleaning is, and it'd be the number 1 with a dot, and then saying £42. Then it'd say 2 with a dot and like 156 or whatever it is for the ad hoc job. And some people have like 3 different lists. So you can imagine the confusion that caused my customers and the influx of text that we got back of people. And then obviously when I looked at the messages and we looked on Squeegee, I could see the date as well, 13th of January. So I was like, sat there that night, my wife going, what the hell are we going to do? Because it cost me £60 for sending messages to everyone, because you use credits in Squeegee, and it was 2 credits per message. And then to send out another message to put down what should be right would have cost me another 60 quid. So we said, we won't do that. We'll just reply to the messages. Those who don't reply, I've spoken to when they've come out the house and spoke to me just to double check. But yeah, there was a bit of a fallout from that one. So that was my blooper, but also not realizing how it works in Squeegee, because we did the pricing a bit different last year. So that's something that you may want to consider if you're going to use this feature. Do a practice one and send it on yourself first, and then be aware if you've got any history of ad hoc jobs, be aware it's going to put the prices for them and how much more. So you can imagine some customers are thinking, my windows have gone from £40 to 156, for example. You can see it just confuses people really. So I've just had to roll with it. And I said to my wife, shall I tell him it's effective from 1st of April? But she said, no, it's done now. So we've just rolled with it. But what happened was basically I've lost 8 customers who are all 8 weekly. And then we've had 2 customers move from 4 weeks to 8 weekly as well. Luckily, that was all in the first 24 hours. And since then, nothing else has happened, or we haven't lost anyone yet. So I'll wait and see what the fallout will be as we go on. So yeah, I put my prices up earlier than I wanted to, but that's handy because I've got my accountant bill through, so I've got to pay for that. So the extra money I'll get will go towards paying that off. So it was a bit of a bum twitchy moment, but I'm glad it's done and I am better off, which is what I'll cover as well. So I'll just go over some comments. Where'd I get to? Mills cleaning. Nathan's just saying, yeah, and one of his employees, we're in a similar position. My van is packing in. The MOT is due on Saturday and there's no chance it's going to pass. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm not sure if Rowan's told you, like in October, my van, it went tits up and it was non-repairable. So I've had to replace it. And that cost me quite a lot of money. I think I did a video about it on my channel where basically I lost £7,500 thereabouts in money fixing that problem. I was having to hire a van to keep working, I had to buy some kit so I could work from just an empty van. So I brought another trolley system from X-Line. And then I also lost around £7,500 work over a 5 week period. So basically it's cost me almost £15,000 if you take in lost work. And I had to wipe out the money in my tax fund to bankroll that while I was trying to finance a new van. And then obviously I had to cover the cost of getting me kit out of my old van, which we did ourselves, but I went and got it installed through X-Line. So it was all that. That was a big cost, and it wiped out my tax fund money. Then I had my tax bill, so I've had to get through paying that through December and January, managed it, and I didn't have enough money to pay myself basically, because I work with my son and my wife, so managed to pay them. So that went on the credit card by doing a balance transfer. That's got me through that one. Now I've got to pay the accountant's bill. So it's probably a good job that my price rises Blooper happened, and instead of going up as of 1st of April, it ended up being February. So hopefully it'll dig me out of that hole. But yeah, vans, they're great when they're always working, aren't they? And we take it for granted. But when they start playing up, and again, I suppose talking of pricing, that's something you have to factor in, because at some point we have to get a new van or keep paying for it to get fixed. Mark is saying, I'm still doing 1 to 2 days per week because of heavy rain. Just got soaked filling up your van for tomorrow. The only dry day this week. Blimey, it's raining outside actually. I was nipped out there quickly. Oh no. Yeah, and I'll go into like what 1 day's work probably really costs you, really. Because it takes you about 3 or 4 days to earn that day's work you've lost, hasn't it? In terms of the profit you get out of that day. Hi Matt, you all right? Saying evening, been wet in the southwest this week, but I've done all my work, no problem. Yeah, because you've got your new rotor going, which you've told me about. And then because you can finish early, like you're saying, it's giving you that flex in your system where if the weather gets you behind, you can easily catch up. So that's really good. Yeah, Paul, it was a bit funny. It was just, once I'd gone live with the price increase, that was it. I just had to go with it and then see what happens with the fallout. You know, what's done is done. Mark is saying I've got to do price rise this year. I'm going to bring up the price on the ones that are too cheap, leave the others as they are. That's basically what I did last year. We concentrated on the ones we felt was underpriced, bumped them up. Some of them needed to go up more than what we did, but we set off a limit of no more than £5 basically. And I said, and from now on, then just leave it. And then every time we do a price increase, it'd be a general one across the board, which is what happened this time. Although I'd rather done that next year, not this year. Matt's just saying that's why I always do my text manually, so I know the info is right. Yeah, I said to my wife, I think next time do it. But Squeegee, I did speak to them about it, and they give me a workaround, which is a bit hard to explain. So it's probably what I'll do next time, which I'll cover as well in the live. Excuse me. Got a bit of a tickly throat. But yeah, so like I said, losing the 8 customers and having 2 customers move from 4 to 8 weekly has basically cost me £150 of income on a monthly basis. But the upshot is, it's weird because I'd worked out different figures. It's really hard using Squeegee. I don't know if anyone else has this problem with their reports. I don't know how to use them properly, to be honest. I'm getting so many different answers. But I would say I'm £500 to £588 a month better off. And that's even after losing the £150 a month of work because of the customers that I lost and the ones that moved from 4 to 8 weekly. So that's how it's gone for me. Hi, Rowan, you're right. Your brother Nave's in here as well. Oh, and you're saying you did your price rise. Yeah, lost about 2%, worked out good in the end. Actually, 2% is considered good. I think when I'd done, excuse me, didn't mean to make anyone jump. When I'd done the maths, losing me 8 customers, I lost 0.98%. So again, that's overall good. I think when I looked it up, just this is using AI on the internet. It says like if you've lost 2% of your customers, for example, it just shows that the majority of customers are happy with what you're doing and with the new price. So that is a good result. And like I say, it makes you a lot better off in the long run. That's the problem with my old answer used to be, because it took me ages to put my prices up, was just find another customer and squeeze them in on the day. But that only works so long. And then you get to the point where you can't put any more work in that day. So the only option you got after that is to actually put your prices up. So the times where I didn't put them up and just kept squeezing in extra work, because you're starting to get more efficient or a bit quicker, or you're sorting out your rounds, so it gives you that sort of like option. You're still avoiding putting your pricing up, and then you become too far underpriced, don't you? So I'm going to do a price rise every 2 years as a rule of thumb, not before. Luckily, because my customers know about my van problem, I think they all knew it was kind of coming. But I have had a couple of responses. Customers haven't cancelled, just one or two. Like they're saying, like, last year you put me up £2, this year you've put me up £3. So I was saying to my wife, you can see from their point of view, in 2 years they've gone up £5, for example. Excuse me. I can see why people would get a bit peed off, but they said they'd continue with me. So that's why I said to my wife, we've got to definitely not do a price rise for about 2 years, let everything settle down. But we've done what we've had to do to survive. And I don't think your customers really realise how much money it costs, even though we're just window cleaning in their eyes, how expensive it is to run a window cleaning business with all your outgoings, which will change from person to person, window cleaner to window cleaner. And you've got different circumstances at home, but you know the cost of living is rising for yourself. So you automatically know it's the same for your customers. It's going to be no different. But you've also got, on top of that, your rising costs, like brushes. I get them mainly from X-Line, and they've gone up a lot since I've first started window cleaning. And that's just the brushes. Think of all the other little bits and, you know, how much they go up. I really should build a spreadsheet on the most common items I spend money on, and then track all their rises that they've gone up through the year, so I can take that all into account. But really, I just look at the money in the bank at the end of the month, and if it's too tight, you're going to have to put your prices up or find more work, aren't you? Sorry, just seen Rowan come in with a comment. Yeah, just saying in the Discord, they say 5% is average. Yep, so we've done well. If you're buying a new van system tomorrow, what brand would you go with? I like the Pure Freedom stainless steel range. I don't know much about vans, really. I just went for one that I could get a finance for, which was a Vauxhall Vivaro. Happy with that, to be honest. Long wheelbase. I do like my X-Line kit, so I'd probably stay with them, but I do like the look of the Pure Freedom stainless steel reels. But I think X-Line have got, the last expo we went to, they had a stainless steel version of the reel that I've got, and that did look really smart and nice. Problem with these powder coated ones, the paint can flake off after a while, especially if you're like the nutter like me that jet washes the inside of his van out once a week. So yeah, stainless steel definitely looks nice. And I know the Pure Freedom reels, I've forgotten what ones they're called. They are like the top one you're going to get. But aren't Pure Freedom taken over because they've sold up, and Window Cleaning Warehouse, I think, took them over. Something like that. Mills Window Cleaning is just saying, I like the idea of putting out a blanket text. However, as I know the customers quite well, I tend to put it up as much as I can to a reasonable degree individually for each customer. Yeah. That's like I was saying to my wife, next time we do the price increase, planned one anyway in 2 years, I said, I think we're going to have to start focusing on the lower end ones, bump them up a bit more, and leave the higher ones either as they are or a very small increase. Because I think for the area I'm in, excuse me, I think I'm running the risk of losing a lot more customers. So I think 5% was good. If I'd gone any higher than that, I definitely would have lost more. But you can imagine the worry it is, I think, for people that have to become VAT registered and you're adding 20% on. I can understand the worry there. I know it'd worry the hell out of me. Oh, that's it, Rowan. Yeah, Real Masters. I couldn't remember the name of it. Wrong button. That's it. Yeah, I think they are the top reels and have been for a long, long time. Sorry, TJ saying, just wanted to say thanks for your lives and the vids. Helped me purchase my full 4040 RO system. Now got a garage, brought some second-hand and new equipment and done it all for, wow, that's good, £1,500. No problem, mate. Like I say, just everyone in here is helpful. Yeah, making your own water is definitely cheaper than buying it from Spotless Water, even though Spotless Water still comes in handy in that. So you've done well there, mate. And then in time, you can always upgrade kit if you need to, or you know what kit you can buy and what kit you don't need. So it saves you money that way. I'd say it make a big difference to your business, mate. At the end of the day, us as window cleaners, if we haven't got the pure water, that's central and the core basically of our window cleaning with the water fed pole system, isn't it? So it's a really big, important thing. So it's definitely worth the investment on getting a good system. And then you'll find it fills up, you've got capacity, and with a submersible pump, filling up your tank is like absolute no problem. And that's what I find with my static system being in my shed, or like yourself in the garage. It's making water while you're out working. So if you're someone like me uses up a lot of water, when I go home for my lunch break, I can just top up the van, no problem, as opposed to plugging the system in on my van, and it's taking like 6-8 hours to fill up the tank. So yeah, it's a good way of doing it. I'm glad I took the advice I was told when I was looking at setting up, and they said, don't have a system on your van, have it static. So that's what I did. It's a good job, really. But yeah, the price increasing always worries me. You get some sleepless nights. You're trying to work out the difference and possibly what the loss of customers will be. Because the first price increase I did, I've only done 3 in like 8 years. That's how bad I've been. And then I've done 2 on the bounce. But the first one, I just did, everyone went up £1 because I could do roughly around 400 cleans on a month. So that's an extra 400 quid is the way I looked at it. But you're all right, Christopher, mate. And I thought it'd be good because the price is minimal. You're getting less likely to people to cancel. But like my wife was saying, the smaller houses you probably start to win on, but the bigger houses, because they've got more windows and smaller ones, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So that's why I went on the percentage. So it was even across the board. But like I said, in 2 years' time, when I plan to do my next one, I think I'll leave the higher end ones alone, and then the lower ones bump up. Or might even look at how to make in Squeegee separate audiences or groups, as it's called. So I can press the one button and it sends a text out to everyone in that list. Your price is going up, say, £1, another one, yours is going up 2, and so on. I think focus more for the lower end ones and bumping them up a bit, because you don't want to lose. That's the problem. If you lose a big customer, it's a lot of small customers you've got to use to replace that loss, haven't you? It's a worry. Yeah, and I'll go into the Squeegee, the reports. It's kind of weird. You can download all data and ask AI to do stuff, but it's coming up with different stuff. Some things don't add up. I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. I'm not that clever, really. So I'll just go back to some of the comments. Yeah, mate. Thank you. Nelly's just saying, we start telling customers about the price increase in March, then text the evening before their April clean, remind them about the prices. Yeah, and I was planning to let them know in February that the prices are going to go up in April. So I thought it gives like a 2-month notice, because some of the customers be every 8 weeks. But it didn't work out like, so I did a boo-boo. And I just had to go with it. Mills is saying, I've got one customer who pays in cash, for instance, loves notes. If I put up to 71 from 70, he'll probably get rid of you. He'd rather you put up to 75, not to deal with coins. Yeah, that's a fair one, mate. That's the advantage in knowing your customers, isn't it? Nathan's saying, what are your thoughts on brand presence? We're planning on doing a rebrand, new vans, our Volkswagens T7s, new sign writing, and new uniform, wanting to get a premium image. Just try and look up something for you. Yeah, what does everyone else think to that as well? So I'm just looking something up on the internet. No, it's come up with a different website to what I was looking for. Here we go. Right, this is for you, Rowan and Nathan. Someone mentioned on live, I didn't know about it till they told me, is this company 360? So the number 3 with the word 60. It will come up with other websites. So put in 360 like that and then put van signage and it will lead you up to this website. And basically all the info's on there. But it looks like, it depends on your van. You basically get in touch with them, tell them about the size or age, the model of the van and all that kind of stuff. Give them some ideas of what you're after for the branding. And then what they do is come up with some ideas, get you to prove it. Once it's proved, you're happy. They basically send you out all the vinyl stuff through the post. It's about 160 quid, I think, depending on your van. And it comes with instructions for you on how to fit it to your van. You do it yourself. And then I can't remember who it was, but they're just saying, and I did read it on their website, if you messed up a particular part, they'll only charge you for that one particular part that you need to reorder, not the whole thing. And you think when I did my van sign written 8 years ago, it was front, side, and the backs, and that was 400 quid. So it's probably going to cost a lot more than that now. And someone like this charging 160 might be a bit more, a bit less, depending on your van. So that's a good option. But yeah, we all know it's important to have your van sign written. Try and get some form of effort to look like you're in a uniform. Like I've got t-shirts with crystal clean windows on it and hoodies. I'm going to try and get polo neck shirts as well. But obviously in the winter, I'm all covered up with me buffalo and waterproofs. But it does create a good image and people see your van, they recognise it more, don't they? And you get walk-ups and all that kind of stuff. So it does create a good image, I feel, and it attracts the right customer to you as well. So branding is good. TJ's just saying, yeah, definitely putting your prices up in April, drip feeding the messages from now. February, March is clean. Yeah, like I said, I know some of you guys do it like as you work through your round. Let people know, so you're gauging the response. If everyone's heavily saying I'll cancel, you probably stop putting them rest of the messages out and adjust the price a bit more, whereas I did it in one go. So if everyone hated it, there's a bigger chance I'm going to lose a lot more people, but that's just the way I did it. Paul's just asking, is anyone finding it a slow time for new inquiries? Yeah, I'm not getting many, but to be honest, I'm not advertising to get more customers. I tend to do word of mouth because I'm pretty much fully booked up in terms of customers. So it normally ends up being a neighbour or a family member of someone already clean. That's one thing we're worried about, putting the prices up, because I do a lot of families. If I lose one, I might lose other family members as well, if you get what I mean. Christopher's just saying, I've been going 5 years. So this is your first year of doing a price increase. So you went for 5% as well. The ones you thought were a little low, okay, you did more. So you did 8%. That's a good way of doing it, mate. Oh, you're just saying, so you've lost one customer, which is happy about, because they're a serial skipper anyway. And most customers said about bloody time. Yeah. It's amazing sometimes, like you get comments like that from customers. I've had a few. That's what we were saying when that first night when we got a few people cancelling. We're looking at each other going, but we've had some customers saying, I hope you're going to put your prices up. Because I think people would rather you put your prices up and be their window cleaner than you perhaps go out of business and have to find someone else because they like you, trust you, and used you for a few years, if you get what I mean. So they want to see you keep going, so they're prepared to do that. It can be really mixed, can't it? It is worrying putting your pricing up. Well, I found it anyway. Oh, Matt's just saying yours was 2 years ago was 250 for front, sides and back, and they installed it for that cost as well. Yeah, mine was 400 plus them installing it, but I just went somewhere local. I suppose nowadays everything is through the internet, isn't it? Where you can, like this 360, and they send it through the post. But I know I'll cock it up. But I definitely want my van sign written. But first of all, I've got to sort this accountant's bill out, pay off the debt on my credit card, try and build money in the pot, because that's all been wiped out because of my van issues. And then I'm keen to get my van sign written as well. I could probably get away without it because all the customers know I've got a new van and know it, but I just feel naked without a sign written van, to be honest. I'd just rather have it. Mill's just saying every time I've sign written my van, it's paid for itself within that month. So you brought a new custom. So you got a new van. How's you finding that, mate? It definitely helps you draw your customers in anyway. And like saying, people walking past with the dogs or whatever, you get walk-ups or people just taking pictures, don't you? Or they've been meaning to get you, and then when they see it and the time's right for them to run out of the house, they'll come and grab you. So branding is important, I think. I suppose a rebrand must be a hard thing to do because it's like trying to start again. So it's just like when you started, isn't it? And you're trying to get it right and keep it right because you put it all on your invoices and everything, don't you? Because like I did when I set up, obviously set up a limited company, put it in dormant mode so it protects my name. So someone else called me can't say, take that off your van. Actually, that's my name. And then I've trademarked my logo. So when I did the branding straight away, got the logo trademarked with IPO that lasts for 10 years, which is scary to think. In just over a year's time, I'm probably going to get a little notification saying it's running out. Do I want to keep it going and pay the fee to sort that out? But yeah, I trademarked my logo as well. It was mainly just to protect me and my brand. So if I'd spent loads of money sorting stuff out, I haven't got to spend loads of money to resort it out. If you listen to the Millionaire Window Cleaner, he's an American window cleaner. He's got a podcast. He had multiple vans and got hit with a rebrand, and it cost him a lot of money and a lawsuit and all that kind of stuff. So it's worth doing these things because it can happen. CW Cleaning Exterior just saying, I started my business recently, June 2025, and the thing I struggle with is planning. I do it on pen and paper at the moment, but want to go digital, but I don't want to pay a monthly fee. Yeah, when I did everything, I used Google Calendars, and I used that to book things out, and then I use Xero as my bookkeeping program. Because you can now, with Xero, you can actually do the invoice. Now you can click on a button. Before you could only email it, but now you can text it to them as well. However, I use Squeegee app, so I pay the one-off fee, £396 for the year on the ultimate plan. I think the next one down's Core is about £300. You get features with that. I can't remember how much that works out a day if you worked it out. But obviously you either pay monthly or you pay a one-off hit for the year and you get a bit of a discount. So that's why I do it that way. I wouldn't know, mate, what systems you could use for free, but I know most of them will have a plan where you can be for free. So if you've not long started, their free plans might work for you. And then as you grow, you go up a plan so it meets your needs. That's what I would do. Squeegee is absolutely brilliant because it's on my phone. Customer can ask when's my next clean. I can just look at it and tell them there and then straight away without having to try and work things out on calendars and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's other things in there. You've got Squeegee, Get Soapy, there's Cleaner Planner, there's AWalker, Jobber. There's loads of different ones out there. I'll just ask various people who use different systems and get the feeling from them. But I'm sure they'll all have something for free for about a month. So you could probably use all different ones and try and find the one that just works for you. So Emil's Window Clean's just saying it's It's a travelling billboard. I find the more days I'm out through the week, the more chance. Oh yeah, with your van, you get people asking quotes. Yeah, and I think that's the thing when you got a sign written van or your clothing with your branding on. It's a bit like the old Queen, isn't it? When she said, "Seeing is believing." So that's what I've said. If you're not working, just out driving around with your van. Sometimes as well. I mean, I've had a couple of walk-ups in supermarket car parks when I'm using the toilet or getting something to eat, and you come out and just happen to catch someone putting the shopping away, but they've been looking at your van, and then you're there, so they come over and speak to you. So it's definitely a good advertisement investment, put it that way. I think I might have named some, mate. I think even the ones you pay will have a free plan for about a month, or they might even have a free plan, but I think for your first month you get access to all their features, because obviously they want you to try and buy a better plan, so to speak. But you've got different levels of plans for all of them. So I'd find a software, try it, see if you like it, and then eventually you're going to have to pay for a plan. I can't remember how much it was, because they do change in time. I think when I had Squeegee, it was all right for so many customers, and then when you get to a certain number, you have to pay, basically. Something like that. But lads on here will tell you. Yeah, Matt's just saying to you, the time you save with the software is worth the monthly fee. It does save a lot of admin time. It's easy to track who owes you, who doesn't. It does a lot of things, and sending out text messages. When I first started, I was just copy and pasting and changing the customer's name, but the busier you get and the more you're doing that every day, it does become a bit of a laborious job. Whereas with these CRMs, you can just click one button and it'll just send texts or emails out to your customers in one go. Oh, don't worry, Ched, you haven't missed too much, mate. I'll give you a quick recap. Basically, I put my prices up this year because of the problems I've got with financing a new van. Even though I put the price up last year, I took your advice going 5%. I used Squeegee, said go up 5% and set it to round to the nearest pound. So some people were slightly above that. However, I did a blooper. I was meant to put the date with effect from 1st of April, but it did it from last month. So effectively, the prices jumped up the minute I sent the text out. And then using their pricing feature in Squeegee, it's all right if someone just had Windows, but if I'd done any historical ad hoc jobs, it also put the price in for them. So for gutters, fascia softeners and gutters, going back 2, 3 or 4 years. So some people were having like 4 different price increases in one message. So you can imagine the confusion that was causing people. So my wife was busy retexting people back, answering them questions. But basically, the first 24 hours, we had 8 customers cancel. They're all 8 weeklies. So some of them, 2 of them were over 40 quid. And then we've had 2 customers move from 4 weekly to 8 weekly. But overall, my 150 quid of work I lost because of the price increase, but I'm up about 588. I thought it was more than that. It could be, I don't know. It's just a nightmare trying to work out using Squeegee, basically. I'm sure I'll find out in the next few months how much I'm better off I am. Yeah, it's hard when you're on a budget, mate. But when you feel ready, they're definitely worth having. Yeah, Google Sheets at first, but I moved on to a paid one as soon as you can, or maybe at least when you get like 50 customers. So set a target. Yeah, I use Google Calendar. B&Q Car Park is a good one, standing next to your van in there. Top tip for new customers. There's normally a burger van or something in them sort of like shopping places, isn't there? So while having a burger or a cup of tea. Paul's just saying you have a garage on the way into town. You always stop for fuel and have a coffee. Good idea, mate. Make sure to park the van so cars see it easy when they pass. Yeah, that's good. Like I say, it's mobile advertising board, isn't it? So yeah, branding, rebranding to create a good image is definitely good. It's just really hard to try and sort out, I suppose, because you want it feel perfect, don't you? So you put a lot into it. Mark is just saying, always think about your car park where you park your sign written van. Sometimes I park on the corner of a side road so everyone walking or driving can see it. And in the car park, park where everyone sees it as I have to leave. These are all good tips. Yeah, Ted's just saying as well, mate, until you get a CRM, make sure you get all the customer details, mobiles and etc. So if you've got a CRM, you've got all these details to hand to put in because you'll have to. That's a good shout. So I'm just going to get something up from Squeegee. It's got to sign in. I can't show Squeegee on here on the live because I'm scared that if I accidentally show any customer details sort of thing. So I'll just have to read it out. But when I go into Squeegee, for those who've got it, you can click on rounds. And then what this does is it's breaking down all the rounds I've got and it tells you a monthly reoccurring and an annual and ad hoc work. So if I take the ad hoc work off, basically it's saying I should get £110,000 this year in work. Bearing in mind last year, it was saying I should be getting 108, but I actually finished the year with, or from today, going back 12 months, Squeegee's telling me I'd turned over 82,000, and that was just looking on rounds, it would say 108. So even though it says on here, it says 114,668, but that's with some ad hoc jobs. If I took them off, it'd be about 110,000. So I'm not going to get that, that's for sure. And it's saying I should be getting £9,555 a month of work. Now, with that figure in mind, because I'm sure I was normally about 8,500, sometimes a bit more. Excuse me. It doesn't make sense with Squeegee. Well, I've got to go finance reporting. And if I click on financials, it's basically give me a rundown. So it's saying I turned over 82,287 in the last 12 months from now. And then going all the way back to February 25. So my highest month was 9,890. That was July. My lowest month was November, £4,465. And then also October, 4,959. October is when my van went tits up. And it took till the end of November to get the new van. So I was taking days off to sort that out as well as trying to work. I lost 3 weeks of work basically over that period. And I was hemorrhaging money trying to cover things while I was waiting for info to come in to make a good informed decision of what way I was going to go. And then most months really were between 6,000 and 8,000. Not many around the 8,000 mark, to be honest. Which is crazy when Squeegee's telling me that I should be earning a lot more than that. And, I clicked the wrong button. The only way I think where I've lost work, I'm going to have to really look into it, is obviously skips and your serial skippers. But we've kind of sorted that out. And it's lost days work due to weather. So this is what I was going to go back to. Say, you need to earn, for argument's sake, £300 a month to cover all your outgoings, including your wages for the business. And let's just say you're getting around £400 a month earning, okay? So, a month, a day. So if you lose that 1 day's work, what people don't realise is you've lost £400 worth of income coming in. But each day you work, say, you're only making £100. So it's going to take 4 days, isn't it, really, to replace that 1 day you lost. But them other 4 days, you're just paying for that. So it can take you 4 or 5 days to get over 1 day you've lost, really. So if you lose like 4 or 5 days a month when it's the really bad weather with the storms hit, you can see the impact it has on you. So again, that's why you have to put your prices up, because it's got to take into account. So again, Squeegee telling me I'm going to earn this much in a year, you're not going to get that. So I don't know if it works out on over a year, you lose 20% of work for things going wrong with your van, where you can't work, and the weather, lost days work, because it takes you so long to claw just that 1 day back, really, when you think about it. So it's something I'm going to have to get into the weeds of and have a look at, or build my own spreadsheets or something. So I've just seen some of the comments. I'm just coming up to them. Yes, mate. You can with Squeegee. I have it so that when I've done the job and you click done, it will automatically send the invoice to customer. And if they're on any automatic payments, it automatically kickstart that as well. I think whatever CRM or planner, whatever you want to call it, they do the same sort of thing. Yeah, there you go. So I just come to you, Rowan. I aim to work Monday to Friday, and we do one Saturday a week because I can't fit them jobs in during the week. Some of them are quite big. So they're all done on a Saturday, which I'm doing this Saturday coming. However, since my van problem, I've been working 6 days a week. So I'm trying to work Saturdays as well to claw back because I needed to meet these deadlines of paying a fixed amount of money, like me tax bill, because I got wiped out my tax money trying to keep myself afloat while sorting out my van problem and all that. So yeah, it just seems last 3 months I've been working basically 6 days a week. And you can say 7 days a week because like today I've been cleaning out my van inside and out. I clean the inside of the van out as well. And then I sort my pole out and all that kind of stuff. So that's like a couple of hours, you know what I mean? Yeah, it did make me laugh, Jed. It feels like an 8-day week. Yeah, no, it is honestly the automatic invoicing. These CRMs, mate, will make your life easier, but don't feel you've got to have one. Like everyone's saying, just set a target when it starts to feel too much to do. And like Matt's saying, when you get these, the time it saves you is worth it. Yeah, you have to pay for their text. If you had emails, the emails are free. But as you probably find, not every customer has email, and some of them don't even have a phone. They just have a landline, or they don't want you to know the phone number. Ask Squeegee what the weather's going to be this year. If it's more rain, I'm going to start selling my body. But yeah, I don't trust the Squeegee reports. And obviously, I want to stay underneath the VAT threshold ideally because it's only me, my son, and my wife. My wife does admin, so she'll do quotes, arranging the schedule because our in-laws live with us. If there's certain hospital appointments and that, and I go and book in a really busy day, it clashes sometimes. Whereas my wife knows what's going on at home. I just said, you just arrange the schedule around that. I just follow what the schedule tells me to do, basically. And I do the invoicing when I get home and bookkeeping, so I can keep track of money, that sort of thing. And otherwise, I lose touch of that when I'm speaking to customers. But when I know what's going on, it's easier to answer questions because you always get asked when you're busy. So it feels like you need about 3 or 4 heads on. And yeah, and then obviously it's me and my son doing the work in the van. And I think like we've had many conversations on here, like if you get the VAT threshold, you're going to have to put your prices up. And if you've just done that after a couple of on the bounce price increases, you're going to lose customers, and then you're losing the money for VAT. But I suppose you can continue to grow and recover from that, but you're going to take that hit, aren't you? Or if you're going to go over that 90, you've got to push to smash through it. So I do believe a lot of people say if you get to the 90,000, to be on the same, to be just under it, you basically got to be earning about 120,000. So between 90 and 120,000 pound income is a bit of a hard area, grey area to get through. But also people say it's not a bad thing. It just shows you're growing if you have to become limited. And I suppose you can target commercial work a bit more, but I'm happy sticking with residential and trying to be below the VAT threshold as long as I've got enough to live. It's bad enough me just running one van, let alone multiple vans. I'm sure a lot of you have that sort of problem. But again, I suppose once you smash to a certain level, it's kind of all right again. It's just getting there, isn't it? Our middle plan on Squeegee comes with inclusive text, Ched. Which plan are you on? Yeah, so using the old Squeegee reports is a bit weird. I don't know how to best use them, to be honest. I'm going to have to look it up because I know you can use the data on there. I've been trying it with AI, but it's coming out with different things. And I also know, like I say, what your projected income is very different to what your actual income will be. I suppose if anyone else is on your CRMs, try and say from now in 12 months' time how much money you've got booked in, write it down, and then next year look at what you've actually earned in them 12 months and then look at the difference. Because obviously you lose skips, you lose a day's work here or there because of the weather or problems with your van, that sort of thing. You'll find it's going to be less. So I just tend to look at what I've earned that month. Ted is saying problem is the VAT threshold hasn't kept up. No, with inflation, so you will hit it unless you reduce the work. Yep. And there's also like I say, the cost of living as well, though, isn't it? If you need to be earning over that, you've got to earn over it, and you can see that's what the government are doing. I mean, I was listening to podcasts today, James Sinclair, and I don't know if it's the latest one. I think it come out the 8th of Feb. I was listening to that one about a guy who's like running a pub and he's not paying himself. And he's just saying how hard that industry is. Yeah. And he's saying he's getting to the point where he's thinking, why do I do it? But this guy's done it for like years. I don't know if anyone else listens to James Sinclair, that you probably know what I'm on about. But it just shows you, I think the government know they know what they're doing to get extra money in for themselves. Like James Sinclair was saying, if people forget the business, it's not just 20% VAT you're paying all these other stuff. So he's saying probably like 60, 65% of your turnover, you're actually paying back to the government through the various ways you get taxed or paying this and paying that. Thank God window cleaning's simple. Oh, so you're on the lowest one. You're terrible at short messages. Yours would be 3 or 4 messages per customer. And then he's saying we went flat rate. Okay, VAT from day one cuts out all the worries about growing. I'm not completely sure how that works, but I think, isn't it like 12%? It depends what service industry you're in. I think we'd be about 12 or 12.5%. So what they're saying is you charge your customers 20%, but you're paying 12% to the government. You, in effect, have done an 8% price increase, or you can just put your customers up the 12%, for example. And I think anything over £2,000 you can claim VAT on for. Anything under that, you can't, sort of thing. So there's pros and cons. And then if you go on the full rate, it's full 20% and you claim 20% VAT on everything and pay 20% VAT on everything. So there's pros and cons. And I think some people, don't they, just say it's best to have that chat with your accountant, really. But I can see the flat rate being the better one. Squeegee financials do show month by month for the last 12 months and predicted graph over the next 6. Yeah, that's where I was getting my info from. But when I click on the rounds, it's also telling me my basically monthly overall should be 9,555. But if I look on my January one, it's sitting around 7,000. Yeah, and it's 7,244. And then February looks like, yeah, it's going to be over, I think it was 8,300 is what I've got down. That's if I get all the work done. And then in March, March, April, I'm hovering around the 10,000 mark. And then it drops and then it goes back up again. But I also know what actually happens. It's still down to the work. And if you get a buggered up day where you can't work, or, it's crazy. So I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Like I say, and if I click on the rounds, it's saying 9,555 and a total of 1,114, including £4,000 worth of ad hoc jobs. But if I go to their reports, if I can find that, is it finance reporting? There's another one I can use on here. I'm trying to think what it's called. Monthly round forecast by round frequency and service. So for those of you who have got Squeegee, just go to your finance, and underneath there you'll find reporting. And then you've got available reports, and along the top it says type all. And if you underclick there and click financial, you've got 8 financial reports, and then one of them is a monthly revenue forecast by round and frequency service. And then when you click on there, you can put a date range. So I'll just go from today. Right, I've clicked the wrong button. Right, it's gone from the 8th of February and it's going up to the 5th of April 2027. And then I'll just scroll down. Basically, going from March, it's 9,849, 9,849, then 9,090, 9,716, 10,142, 9,456, 9,842, then 9,562, 9,323, 10,166, 9,008. So I'm just trying to work out that one that says 5,580, but that might just be because it's an odd part of a month. So that's what the forecast is, but obviously that's only going to work. So I'm just getting rid of some windows off in here. If you can work every single day, you're going to lose days work here and there, aren't you, through the months? And some months are going to be worse than others because bad weather. So it shows you your pricing really has got to take them lost days that you can get into account and skips. So that's what I've said to my wife, really. Another way to protect your customers from having to put price increase in is weeding out your poor customers. So the ones that are always paying you late, once you're in a position where you don't need to rely on that money, you can kind of try and get them to sign up to go cardless. Obviously, like Rowan's 100% go cardless. I think Matt's almost there, I think, to 100% go cardless. So they will help get rid of that. But for someone like me, I haven't. I think I've looked on here. I've got about about 50% of my customers pay through backs, and then I can't remember the breakdown between backs, go cardless, and Stripe. And then there's a certain amount that just pay cash or check. But yeah, to protect the price of your customers, to weed out the poor ones, isn't it really? Because you're having to put your prices up because of them, so to speak. So if you get rid of the serial skippers and replace them with customers you don't skip constantly or, a lot during the year, you're going to get 2 or 3 skips here and there, aren't you? Because life's life. So that's something I said to my wife, once this is settled down, we'll start looking at people who are serial skippers, identify them and then get rid of them. Late payers, send them a message, right, you need to sign up basically to go cardless. If you don't, I can't clean your windows anymore. So you can replace them with better customers. So it's cash flow, isn't it? So that's another way of protecting your pricing and not having to put them up too much. Mills Clean is just saying I was sending texts that were 3 to 4 long too, but my issue was that I had emojis in my job descriptions. Right, yeah, so take up. I think what sometimes I do is get a text message, use AI to try and convey the message I'm after, but try and limit it to so many characters. That might save a bit there, Ched. Rowan's just saying, I think VAT is a ceiling. If you want to go around your round slower and build it up, when you're forced to go over, you can really go over to cover it. Yeah, so build up slowly, get it all solid, and then when you get to that point, you're just going to have to really smash it. So go on a bit of a campaign to get lots of customers. So you can kind of counteract the problems you're going to get of having to be VAT registered, basically. But like Matt's saying as well, if you keep your outgoings really low and you're solo, you can keep yourself under the VAT registration. Your profits are bigger, and you're not working like me 8 till 5. I do get an hour lunch break, because by the time I drove home from some places, had something to eat, refill up the tank so we're full again, so I can know all afternoon I'm covered. And then we have about 20 minutes for a break for a cup of tea and then a sandwich sort of thing. I finish normally around 5, sometimes before. I think Saturday we finished at 1:45, but I had it's one of them rounds where I had a bit of driving. Mills Clean is just saying, I've got it to one text now, though. Yeah. Oh, right, you watched James Sinclair as well. Emailed you recently, thinks you're... Oh, that's interesting. You've got to go on there, Rowan. Think of the advice he might give you as well. I know he's interested in things like this. So he's only interested in the stuff that's going to make him money, isn't he? I'll see if I can find mine. I have to go in settings, don't I? Settings. Everything changes after updates. Messages. Yeah, this one's basically my template that I use. So I'll just catch up on the messages. So I'm just closing a few windows off my desktop. A 3-month rolling, I'm not sure how it works. I know you've got to do that MTD, haven't you, going tax digital if you're over a certain amount. But I'm not sure. It's something I'm going to have to speak to the accountant, but the accountant hasn't hounded me. So I'm looking at that as a good sign. Because I'm a sole trader partnership, is it the overall business being over like 30,000, I think it is now, isn't it? And 50,000 we have to be tax digital? Or is it included because we're all self-employed individually when we're over that? So I'm not sure. There's something I'm going to have to ask him at some point. Don't ask him too soon, because I know he'll chase me up for the invoice. He'll have to wait till the end of the month to get paid, I think. I'm not sure on that one, Miss. When I send the messages out through Squeegee, I've got it's where they can text back, but it's confusing because you have to have they give you a completely separate number, and the number's separate to my business number. And I know that will just cause confusion with my customers, but if they ring it or text it, it goes to your work phone, or you can get it to direct it to your work phone. But we turn two-way messaging, we turn that off. So we only send messages out through Squeegee, and when they send them back, they come to my work phone, and that's what my wife uses, and she replies back if there's anything we need to chase up back afterwards. So Mill's just saying, if you're sending messages through Squeegee, I think it's worth upgrading to the core package, as you get 150 credits per month. And if you get your message, down to a certain amount of characters, you just get 1 credit basically. And I know in Squeegee, if you look on the messages, it'll tell you how many credits you're going to use for that message. And then once you've got your template down, you can save it somewhere so you can copy and paste it in as well. Two-way messaging, yeah. All right, so if you use that, it goes back through Squeegee app. So you've got a record of it there then, haven't you? Marcus saying mine look more like your windows have been cleaned today. We went over the gate because you never open them. Yeah. They're problem gates. I just use my ladders and get over them. Luckily, I haven't got many. Because I've got kids and dogs, I understand why perhaps the gate's locked and no one's in. We always knock first. If not, they don't mind me going over with the ladder. So I use one extension of my ladder to go up, another extension on the ladder the other side to come down, so I don't actually put my weight on the gate. Right, so you like the two-way messaging. So have you got, do you find it's a separate number they've given you on the two-way messaging than what the number is, for example, on your van? That's, yeah, just saying you're not going to go VAT registered as you're not growing a big business with staff. It's not worth the extra hassle. You're happy being solo. And like you say, having that time with your family as opposed to having to keep working like mad like I am. So yeah, that's just my template there. And I think that's 1 credit as well. In Squeegee, that is, Ched. So you're trying to flick between Squeegee and the live stream. Got it on times X to keep up. Yeah, it's a good question, Nathan. I've got a lot of kids. So I've got another son who comes out with, this year, he's come out with me in the winter. I used to work for my daughter, Sophie, but she's gone off to Scotland. She's going to be moving back down this way, which means she'll probably be living back in the house for a bit. So I'll have her other half and 2 dogs. So you probably find I'll be working till the sun goes down. And we used to work as a 3. So when it was 3 of us, we could finish earlier. So we found we can finish by 4 o'clock because it's worst case scenario where it's dark by 4. And that's only for a few weeks, isn't it? And it starts to get light again. But because she left, I had to use my other son, David. He's 19. So he's been coming out with me and Matthew. He's been using the X-Line trolley and barrels of water. So we've worked as a 3 out of 1 van just so that we can beat the lack of daylight. So that's how we managed it. And then what will happen is now the day's getting longer, it'll just go back down to me and Matthew. And obviously with David, because he's my son, I ain't got to pay him a proper wage. He volunteers his time and I volunteer him some money. And also I find in the winter, the windows are a lot easier to clean than normal because of the wet weather. They seem to stay a bit cleaner than longer with the extra rain in between cleans, I suppose. And then obviously the lack of insects and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of works in my favour. And then you get some people skip. Or like for me, I tell them they can change between 4 and 8 weekly. Some people use, not a lot, but some will go 4 weekly in the summer and go 8 weekly in the winter. So it kind of helps me out. Yeah, you do have to send extra credits, mate. So as soon as you run out, I've got mine set up so it auto renews and you can save the limit of credits. I can't remember how much I do. And then it pays for it out of my bank. So it automatically tops up basically. And you can set it as well. So it doesn't have to get to 0 when it gets, say, like your last 100 credits, it'll automatically top up. I think you've got 4 choices of amount. Right, so Matt's just saying it. Tax Digital sole traders, not partnership. So I'm a sole trader partnership. So I think I am in class in the partnership basically. So I think I might be not having to do Tax Digital, but it is something I'm going to ask my accountant. Separate number that you're given, yeah. Matt's not got that problem. He's home by lunchtime. Hi, part-time window cleaner. You all right, mate? Thanks for joining in. I'll let Matt answer that question. But yeah, you just got to work out what you need, really, innit? But it'd be nice to have a buffer. I'll be glad if I can increase my monthly, should do with the price increase, but actually hit what this Squeegee's telling me I should be earning each month. So work me nuts off basically. take more risks of working in bad weather. But when there's a storm and you've got like gales going 50, 60 miles an hour, obviously there's nothing you can do about that for 2 or 3 days, is it? And to be honest, that probably takes you, a week or two to earn that lost money back, actually. Because obviously each day you earn, a certain amount is covering costs. And you've got a small amount, which is probably profit. And it's a lot of them small amounts, if you get what I mean. It's got to make up each day you're losing through running costs. So that's why I reckon if you lose one day, it's probably taken 4 or 5 days to pay that back. But then your overall income that month has an effect. So that's why I always try and work till the longest I can in a day, because I'm leaving money on the table if I don't. But then you're working like an idiot, aren't you? But I'm an idiot. I wouldn't be allowed home by lunchtime because I'll just come home starving. And if I got home too early, there's always lots of jobs that you can get on in the garden and that. So I'm probably best off just keep window cleaning. But yeah, I suppose it all depends where you are, doesn't it? If you're in a really big built up area, you can have quite compact work, can't you? But if you're somewhere rural like me, where everything's like maybe a 10 to 15 minute drive to another village, your work's going to be spread out a bit more, or your rounds are anyway. I know sometimes I'm in the whole village for the day, and on other days I'm in that village and a neighbouring village. But it's like Matt's saying as well, things that's going to increase your daily rate, isn't it? It's having a compact round. So as well as putting your prices up, always look at how you can make your round a bit more efficient, or make yourself efficient, like Ched has said as well, so you can work faster, you can earn more. But you don't want to be going at a sprint pace, if you get what I mean. Yeah, van's going well, mate. No problem. Drives like a dream. The X-Line's set up. I'll say I've had it a while and it's still no problem, going strong. Yeah, it's going well, thank you. It's a lot easier and more comfortable to drive. More mod cons. In fact, I found one thing out. My elbow accidentally hit a button where you got the controls for your electric windows to go up and down. And I pressed a button, slid it another direction, and it folded in my wing mirrors as I was driving. But it turned out to be handy because I was squeezing through a tight gap between two vehicles, and I was worried about my wing mirrors when I accidentally hit it with my elbow. And I've only seen it open and close when I lock and unlock the van, so it confused me a bit. And then I kind of laughed to myself and thought that was beautiful timing there to work that one out. But yeah, the van's good, mate. Easier to do consecutive days at that rate. I've been trying to do full days because you heat your water, but you do see the benefit of taking a bit easier, which is what you've started doing recently. Yeah, I think you've got to pace yourself, innit? Hi, James. You all right, mate? No worries, buddy. You have a good week as well if you leave a bit early. I think that's what I mean. Matt's got his down to a perfect T, really, and he's starting at a time after the school run. He's home for the school run, and he's got what he needs to earn for the day. And everything's nice and compact. And he's going to see, once you get it right, it's easier to keep it that way, isn't it? You just got to do a bit of house husbandry, I suppose, to keep it that way. And he's getting what he needs. And then there's me earning as long as I can to get what I need. But obviously, I'm got to pay for my son, paying for my wife, not just me. And we don't pay ourselves tons. We just pay what we need to get by, but it leaves enough in my business bank account because there's unforeseen things that happen. Mills just saying, I've just found out my van has an app to precondition the cabin before I go into it. I wish I'd known about it in December. Mine's not that flashy. That's handy, innit? I know, like, some people can start their vans or cars, can't they, from not even being in it, so it does the same thing. But yeah, I am liking the van. It's got air conditioning in it rather than just blowers, so that's nice. It'd be nice in the summer just to get inside a van, put the air conditioner on, and it instantly drops down cool. That's what me and Matthew found when I've had to use hire vans because my old van had broken down. Because I've had that happen a few times where I've hired a van for the month, and then with the air conditioning, we're like, oh, this is just brilliant. Yeah, I agree, Marcus, that Matt's got a good work-life balance, keeping stress to a minimum, personal service, earning what he needs, finished early. You don't have to have like crazy amount of vans and stuff to be successful, no. And I think a lot of people, though, don't they, go for the building a lot of vans is so they can actually have a better quality of life by coming off the tools, I suppose. And the business runs itself. They're just there to show the face and keep tabs on stuff. So they get a lot of time back. It's just to get that, you've got to work hard for it, I suppose, with a multi-van setup. But when you're just working on your own, you can achieve the same thing, but with just you and the one van, I suppose. But yeah, it's hard, but I kind of like the drama of trying to be done by the end of the day and things going wrong. I mean, I can tell you a story about Saturday, actually. I was working in March in Doddington, so you're talking like a 23-minute drive to the furthest away house, and I've got a few there. We'd cleaned a house, and I was just driving down to the end of the cul-de-sac to turn around, and there's an old lady walking along, proper hunched over with a walking stick, but she looked a bit stressed to me, and she was lifting her walking stick up in the air to get her attention. So I slowed down, and I was just thinking, but my van's not sign written, so how does she know I'm a window cleaner? Is she going to ask me? Because you straight away normally think someone's going to ask you. So I knew something was wrong, and she sounded a bit stressed. So I got out of the van, spoke to her, and she just seemed really confused. And she kept asking me, is this the way to get to the shop? I want to go to the chip shop. And I was like, I think it's over this way. She said, where am I? What road am I in? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not from round here. So she was laughing and said, I used to live here years ago. I've just moved back. So I was thinking, has she got dementia? Or has she took a wrong turn in, never been down here before? And she's just really confused and doesn't know what's going wrong. And suppose you would fear that you got dementia in that sort of situation. So I said to Matthew, here's the van's running. I said, just drive the van to the next house. I said, I've got to walk all the way to the chippy with her. So arm in arm, we walked together, had a chat. It's snail's pace. She just decided to leave the chippy because she's got a long way to walk back. And she kept asking me where she lives. And I said, I don't know there. So I just said to her, if you go in the shop, get what you need. I said, I'll walk back and I'll come back and pick you up. It's just, I don't know how long it'll be because we're cleaning the house. So she's, oh, that'd be great if you could do that. Because she's on about getting a taxi. And I said, don't get a taxi. You'll be waiting for one and they'll cost you a lot of money. And you obviously need to get yourself home and put your feet up. But then we started another house and she was almost walked up to me then. And we're finished packing away. So I told Matthew and David, if they get out of the van, there's space for her to sit in it. And then I just said to her, look, I know you're only round the corner, but I'll drive you there. I'm glad I did because I think she was halfway to her house. And I had asked some of my customers the address of where she lived, saying, is there a place around? And they said yes, because I said I wasn't sure if she had dementia or not. But I knew when I was walking her to the shops, she was identifying landmarks and getting her bearings. So I thought, right, she hasn't. She just followed some instructions and took a turn too early, really, and got confused. So she's nearly crying, bless her. But I got her to her home anyway, had a chat and laugh, and then left. So that was my good deed for the day. So perhaps fate that day, I was supposed to be working Saturday and in the right place at the right time. But I rang my wife up saying, why do these things always happen to me? And why am I the person who's nice to kind of do something about it? But it won't be the last time. Hopefully the word's spread and I'll get like thousands of customers. Who knows? So has anything like that happened to anyone else this week where you've had to be helping people who are in distress? Because if I hadn't now, Christ knows what, she didn't even know her way back home at the time I met her. She was so confused, bless her. Cheers, Jed. Now, she's a bit too short to reach the windowsills, I think. Well, she would have done. But yeah, bless her. She'd not long come out of hospital, and I think she said she had a cracked heel, so her foot was in some kind of contraption that she had to keep on. And she said they told me to exercise, but not overdo it. I'm not allowed to drive because of it. Hence why she said I'm walking. Excuse me. So I was trying to say to her, "Oh, don't drive your car," because you could see what she said I'm going to do next time. But that's the sad thing, isn't it? Some of my customers, like round here, we don't have a bus service through my village. So if you are no longer allowed to drive, you can't even rely on a bus service. So they have to use the it's called Fact Bus. If I said that right, and where you can organise it, come and get picked up and took out. But yeah, basically you lost your independence, haven't you? And there's one local shop, but to some people that's like running a marathon just to get to the shop for some bread. So yeah, did my bit for the day anyway. It always happens at a time we're in a rush, but when you see someone like that, all of a sudden you just think, forget about time. There's more important things. You know, it's someone's mum, I suppose, at the end of the day, isn't it? A couple of my customers saw me walking with her anyway and smiled at me. She did offer me in for a cup of coffee. I said I can't because my sons are working and I need to be with them. And she's like, I'm not trying to chat you up, you know. I'm too old for you. She did make me laugh. She did offer to buy me something and I told her, no, don't worry about it. Hi, Russell. You all right, mate? Yep. Cheers, buddy. Have a good week yourself, mate. I was expecting you to say she booked in £1,000 pressure washing job or something. Being nice doesn't pay credit. Pay no credit to you, they will do something. Yeah, you, I don't know. You just know something's not right, if that makes sense. And I could have just, because I felt under pressure for time, that sort of thing, and wanted to get home because Ipswich Town were playing, England playing rugby. I missed that. But no, I just thought, hang on, someone's in a bit of a kerfuffle here. I could see she looked stressed and upset, and you straight away think it's someone got dementia. I mean, there's a customer I used to clean, bless her, she had dementia, and the neighbours were telling me 2 a.m. she'd be outside in a nightie, and right outside where she lived, there's a bus stop, and sometimes she'd get on the bus, but luckily the bus drivers were aware of it, so if she was on the bus, they'd keep her on the bus in the warm and basically call the police. That used to happen quite a few times. It's sad, isn't it? But anyway, I've survived my blooper with putting the prices up. So I've lost about 1% of my customers, basically 150 quid of work a month lost, but I've gained over 500. I think it's 588. I had worked out 838 before then, and I'm sure it was 600. So I'll go for the 500 to 600 pound. And like I said, it's 482 finance for me van and an extra £51 for the insurance for me van. And that's what I wanted the price rise to cover, basically. And then if I can make sure I hit the projected monthly work that Squeegee tells me I've got booked in, but at the end of the day, that's down to skips, problems where I can't work because of the van or something, or the weather. So as long as them things go in my favour, should have a good time. So the summer should hopefully be good. again, speaking to my wife, we're saying like January is a hard month and August tends to be as well because the summer holidays. And when it's the summer as well, a lot of people have building work going on. So sometimes you can't clean the windows then. But you've got to make your money when you can. Even though you might have tons of money in the bank, I don't think you should have that attitude of, oh, maybe I don't have to work today. I think you need to keep going because you never know what's around the corner. Like if your van goes, like poor Nathan's going through. And a few of on here as well have had the same thing, and then it's happened to me. It's not funny. But at the same time, if you can get over these things, it's probably a test. Even if you think your pricing's a bit underpriced, it just goes to show you're doing something right, because some people that would finish them. But you've got to try and stay ahead of that curve, I think. But it's a fine line, isn't it? When you're charging too much, when you're not charging enough, you want to be in the middle. It's hard, but you've got to kind of gauge it. I know, Chris was saying I had a medical emergency Friday. A lorry driver weighing 25 stone fell off his ladder. Called the ambulance and waited. He broke his femur bone and I had to stay help him lift him on the stretcher. That's a nasty break there, isn't it? Because if you cut an artery in there, you bleed out really quick. Bloody hell. I bet that was a bit of a worry. Was you the only person there as well? Or did anyone else walking past see you was trying to help someone and helped as well? A lot of people just try and avoid it, don't they? Was that while you're working as well, Christopher? Or was that like on a day off? It's quite weird, isn't it? Because while you're waiting, you're just laughing, thinking to yourself, oh, I'm going to get all my work done today. You know, so you're like your black humour. I've had to do CPR on someone. My daughter had been out, she'd come running and she was just breathless. And I knew something was going up because I'd been out to get some frozen chips. And I noticed there's a couple of ambulances driving round. So I just thought, oh, something's going on. Then they'd come in because they were walking the dog. Said, Daddy, come quick, there's a guy. So I knew with the ambulances that something was bad. So we got there and there was a guy doing CPR. And I said, you all right, do you need a hand? He said, can you take over? I can hear the ambulances going round, but they don't know where I am. This is in the middle of a field. And he said, I'll go and make a phone call. So I said, okay. And then all I could think while I was doing it to take my mind off was flipping frozen chips in the back of my car. Not going to be frozen by the time I get them home. Over your van seat. So what do you mean with that, Nick? Is that like getting the lorry driver or something? But yeah, it's difficult putting pricing up. You can't. You have to. And you know your costs. I definitely want to get my costs down. This November, I'll have my bounce back loan paid up. That'll be done. So I'll be saved £266 a month. So I'll be that much better off then. And I'll clear this credit card that I've had to pay myself on January because of my van going tits up. Get rid of that. I'll be that much a month better off as well. That I'd be paying off trying to clear it. So I'll be nearly another £500 a month better off, really. And you need that. Give you some breathing room. That's what I'm going to do. I don't think we can really take on any more customers. And like with Matt saying, like when I was too cheap, I had to book 8 till 5 of work basically to make sure I was hitting enough money a day, take into account skips as well. But everything was priced right. If you were finished by 3, well, when a customer asks for a gutter clear, fascia softs and gutters, well, you've got that room to add that job on your normal day, if that makes sense. Whereas when I first started, I was saying, I've got to pack my day out with work, really. Because if I aim to work till 3 all the time, I've got 2 hours worth of work I'm thrown away. But if you're priced correctly, you wouldn't be thinking that way, would you? You'd be thinking you're done by 3. You can afford to have that 2 hour window there to do add-on jobs when they come up. And you're also in a position whether you want to do them or not. So it'd be nice to eventually get to that, but we'll see. Like I said, you've got to try and get ahead of the curve and organise things how you want to, innit? It's not easy. Oh, I've got your message come through now, Nick. So I got flagged down at a bus stop, asked to help get a woman home. She felt poorly, dropped her home only to find she had urinated all over your fan seat. Oh no. So she didn't tell you why she wanted to go down. Get home quickly. Oh no. You don't want to turn your heating up after that one, do you? Oh my God. But again, you've done something nice there, Nick, and helped someone out. And I'm sure that person will be very upset to have done that. It just shows getting old is not going to be fun. Or it could be. But yeah, that's the other thing with being a window cleaner, isn't it? You get a good idea of what's to come when you're speaking to your customers with their illnesses and all that lot. So enjoy your life while you can. Like Matt's got his routine sorted, so his work-life balance is good. He's got the right idea when you think of it like that. Mills Cleaners just sent it to test the TDS. Oh, I think the sniff test's enough. Christopher's saying, I just got to my customer's barn. It was in the middle of nowhere. No one else came by for 20 minutes. I'm used to seeing things like this as you're a first responder for the fire service. Do you get used a lot as a first responder, mate? Yeah, and that 20 minutes can seem like a long wait when you're waiting, if you get what I mean. I remember like that CPR seemed like it was taking for ages because I could hear the ambulances come round and an air ambulance came in as well, but it just seemed to be forever. No worries, Kev, mate. So nightmare week at home with a roof tile breaking, bath leaking, now my garage door's broken. Everything happens in threes, yeah. Except it's all at your home. Jesus Christ. Look at Dan, the cherry picker man, Kev. I'm sure he's got some videos on there of how he repairs cracked tiles. So even if it's just like a temporary repair. Thing is, it's on the roof and getting to it, innit? Depending on your tile. Another reason here, Kevin, is to get your pricing right. Is we've got loads of things need doing up at home, but we can never afford it. So if I get all that right, maybe we can start dealing with these things because they just grow into bigger things, don't they? Chris was just saying he was in some pain there to give him ketamine to sedate him, but too much was risky. All right, due to his weight, he had a good sense of humour. Yeah, it's amazing how good your sense of humour helps you out in these situations, and I think definitely helps that he had a good sense of humour as well. There we go, cracked tile CT1. Yeah, good on you there, Christopher, mate. I think as well, you don't realise how good your sense of humour is until you're in a bit of a predicament yourself. And sometimes just making someone smile and laugh for a couple of minutes, it's massive, innit? That's why I say when I chat to my customers, sometimes it's good to take a bit of time out. And like the customers who have passed away, I'm really glad I had those little routines of a chat of when I turn up and when I leave. Kind of made them smile and have a chat. It's just definitely worth it. Right, well, I'll start thinking then about wrapping this up because of time. where it's Sunday evening for everyone. You don't listen to me rabbiting on too much, but yeah, just to take away from this, from your price rising, don't be scared to do it. Do what you think you need to do. Don't listen too much to everybody else. By all means, take advice, but you know you and you know your circumstances better than anyone else. If you're going to use Squeegee and use the pricing feature, just be aware if you've got any ad hoc work listed on there, it's going to give them a price increase for that as well as what your regular work is. So either delete it all, or you're going to have to take them off the pricing. When the pricing feature, go through the list of customers and delete them off there and deal with them separately, basically. And then make sure you put the date that you want it to come effect from is the date you want it to, and not like me in the past. So that's my take on there. But the good thing is you will come out better off. Or like someone said to me, I think it was Rowan, said, worst case scenario, you're probably going to be no different, just got less customers. And then you've got room to take more on at a better price, or be like Matt, have a better work-life balance. So I'll just go through the comments. Yeah, you have a good week, Chad? RCT1, yeah. Hopefully it's not raining for you, Kev. Cheers, Mills Cleaning, mate. Yeah, good on you for being a first responder. I bet you have to deal with more pissed people, though, than people that are injured. I'm off to bed. Cheers, Paul. Oh, mostly for CPR. Shit. It's a bummer. Yeah, the guys on he smoked loads of fags. Unfortunately, I recognised him as well. But you do what you got to do, don't you? Keep up the good work, though, mate. Right. Night all. Take care. Have a good week. And those of you suffering, cheers, Marcus. With the weather, I hope it really improves with you, because, like I say, losing 1 or 2 days, it probably takes about 5 or 6 days actually to make up for that loss, doesn't it? And there's only so many days in a month. And obviously this month's a short month as well on top of it. But fingers crossed for everyone. Have a good week, and I'll see you all next week.